Welcome back. This is M-Dog, and today we're going to just spend a couple minutes looking at this little fishing spot at Quarry. I saw somebody post about this on VK recently. Many of you may have already sampled this a little bit. Ultimately, float fishing at Quarry now is a little different, with Quarry whitefish being in the mix, as well as the rainbow trout, apparently. That was the first one we pulled out. Now, I will say, before we get into the weeds here, this is not a very exciting place to fish if you're talking about fish per minute. We might say even fish per hour. But it is fun if you feel like doing some very chill float fishing. And I'm sure there are ways to both increase the bite rate, and there may even be other spots where you can get on a little more active fishing rotation. But specifically, the person that I saw mention this on VK, they were really looking at catching a trophy Kuori whitefish, which after fishing here for 26 minutes, we just caught our very first Kuori whitefish. So again, not getting tons of them. I've got to really watch that. It looks like it's just sometimes there's just that slow pull down. I can't be tricked into thinking that's a bite. Okay, let's get into the weeds a little bit. Let's reposition this one. We haven't had a bite on this one in a bit, so I'm actually going to, well, it's going to be harder to watch. I'm going to do it kind of over in this direction. I've been moving around some. It seems like that's going to be a little too far away with this particular setup. I have noticed that it doesn't feel like there's one real spot here. It feels like there's a huge area. And I would say if you look south from where we're standing, just right of south, but then all the way over here, probably to west, if you can believe the VK post. I haven't actually cast straight west yet, but I've been sort of hitting this whole area that you can see in front of us. So where we are is on this one of the new islands here at Kuori. Very small little island. Take the boat over from base, get off, and start float fishing. And we are using telescopic, obviously. I guess you do this with bolo or match rods and be a lot less risky. Decided to go for it and use telescopic. I'm using 10 kilo fluorocarbon leaders. I guess you could go a little smaller than that, although I don't know that I'd want to. I think even with 10, we're eventually going to hit into some kind of lake trout or something that's going to, blow us up. But little 4 kilo leader, 6 hook, and this one has a diving beetle on there. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. When work calls, you got to jump. So anyway, yeah, we're not getting a very good bite rate right now, are we? So let's just keep moving stuff around. All right, so I showed you, I showed you this first one, right? This is where we've got size 6 hooks and diving beetle. 10 fluorocarbon leader. I'm actually using 10 fluorocarbon leader on this one as well. I think I want to try kind of going in this direction here. So I'm going to pull them all a little farther to the right. Let's just see if we can get a nibble for you over in this direction. Okay, so diving beetle, dung beetle, and mayfly larva. By the way, I just switched to sandwich. I was just using dung beetle. But I decided to try at least one sandwich. And then this one we just have mayfly. And we actually have a 10 hook, a little smaller hook because we've got less of a leader. I actually don't have a third telescopic rod that's large enough. So this is 8.2, the rod's 8.7. That's already cutting it very close. So we could run into some disastrous situations for sure. But yeah, we're giving this a try. So far we have caught the rainbow trout came in on the diving beetle. Couple of lake trout. That one was diving beetle. That one was diving beetle. Then the grayling came in on the dung beetle mayfly larva combo. Same with that one. So 2 grayling on that one, and the Quarry whitefish came on that one. So that's the middle rod. According to that, it doesn't look like we've had a fish, at least not one that I've kept on the third rod. So that's maybe informative. Maybe we should switch that over to dung beetle by itself. Let's do that. Let's just, oh shoot, wrong one. No, that is the right one. Got my lines crossed though. So let's go ahead and switch this over to dung beetle. See if we can get a little better bite rate. Which it's too bad, isn't it, that we're not using the freshwater gammarus? Why don't we try that? Why don't we try that for a bit? I have a feeling that's going to be really slow considering how slow everything is in general. But like I said, this is slow. I liked catching the graylings. Certainly the rainbow trout was fun. The whitefish, of course, is good. I think the fun part of this spot to me is just the variety of fish. The other interesting thing that I've noticed, and there aren't many places in the game with this clear of a water where I feel like you can do this, but this is a really good opportunity if you're wanting to get better at float fishing on telescopic rods. A really good opportunity to be able to see the fish, sometimes even when it's hooking into the bait. But even more importantly, to be able to see the fish. Oh, so sad. To be able to see the fish, like which direction it's swimming. Because if you're trying to fish for carp, let's say, with one of these big old blade infernos, which, you know, they go up to 25 kilo load capacity, so they're pretty heavy duty. But if you're going to try to catch a big carp on these, you have got to be perfect with recognizing the direction that the fish is swimming and then leading it so that its head, you know, is brought the way it's coming, and then it's brought up in that direction, or you're not going to have a chance at getting it. It's just going to snap your line. I don't know if that makes sense, but there definitely is an art to it. I am not very good at it, but this seems like it would be good practice at trying to improve on that. Hey, we're going to get a fish on this new bait. A little Vindus or something. A perch. How sad is that? Has this new bait still not been good? I mean, yeah, y'all let me know. I could have missed it, but has there been a spot yet where this new bait has been worthwhile? We'll try it again. So we just had back-to-back fish, Vindus and perch. Pretty disappointing, but so anyway, especially when so right now the sun's full up. It's a little, or it's getting to be. It's cloudy, but it's a little later in the morning now. But when it starts getting darker in the evening, not pitch black, but a little darker, and you've got your flashlight on, you can just see further into the water. You've got a much clearer view. And so it is good practice to be able to recognize, like, okay, which way is the fish pulling? And can I like pull my, you know, telescopic rod in that direction to lead the fish and actually get the momentum coming towards me? Because when you're using a telescopic rod, if the fish is too big for, you know, for your line, once it turns, once it gets a head of steam swimming away from you, you're in trouble. That line's going to snap. So you've kind of got one shot. Yeah, the 8 Mile song is playing in my head right now. But you've got one shot to try to get that fish in. So I kind of think this is an interesting opportunity to see some of those types of situations and practice with, I guess, less chance of breaking your stuff. I still think you could hook into a fish here with, at least with the leaders that I'm using, leader sizes that I'm using. You could still get in pretty big trouble pretty quick, but we've got 2 bites on at the same time. missed them both. What are the odds? So when I pulled the second one up, or sorry, the first one up and missed that bite, I should have just chilled and taken a good look at the second one, because the second one was on there aggressively. You could see it pulling real tight, but then it had stopped, so it had kind of gone back to normal. I think this one is just sinking down in the water a little bit. I forgot about that, but we added 5 kilos of weight, and this is only a 4 kilo float, so we should we'd get a little better view of things if we put a little stronger float on here. At least 5 kilos, I guess. Let's do 5.3. Ooh, I just don't want to lose that one. Well, it's a Siberia. It's not like we can replace a Siberia, I guess. So we'll try that. I think it's going to sit pretty low, isn't it? Oh no, those sit tall. That's pretty nice. I like that one for this situation. Now the float we were using on this one and the float we're using on this one are both in the glowing category. So when your light's on at night, they do tend to show up pretty well, but given that it's daytime. So we'll just try this another couple minutes. I do have all 3 of them at 1.5 depth. So 150 centimeter depth. Ooh, that was aggressive. Oh, you're kidding me. As soon as I start recording, I start just messing it up. I don't know if I'm not used to that float or what, but that just looked so aggressive. I mean, we've caught some pretty boring fish. 2 Ventus and a perch. I was hoping we'd at least see one of the more interesting species. But like I said, it is a very slow bite rate. And this first rod, I mean, it hasn't gone off in a while. And now I've got to remember, that's going to really mess with me. But let's see if we can keep tabs on that. Oh, did I mess up the bite? I think I did. That's my fault. There wasn't enough slack in it. So I either just needed to leave it alone till I was ready to pull, or not throw it quite so far on this one. But I feel like some of the better fish could come in on that front line, or they did when we first went in there with those diving beetles, but it's been a while. We got the rainbow trout and the Quarry whitefish, right? No. There was something else we got. Oh, the lake trouts. All right, we'll give it another minute here. I don't want to go on and on about this, but I'm curious, if you all have done float fishing on Kuori, are there other spots you like trying? What has your experiences been like? Favorite baits or bait combinations for float? I mean, Kuori doesn't feel like Kuori is, the new Tuba or Tunguska for float fishing or anything in terms of how well you can do on those maps at times with float, but it's definitely more interesting than it used to be for float, for, trying to catch larger fish on float. And I suspect that the community will find different spots popping up. And I mean, if you could ever get on a spot where you're catching pretty decent sized Kuori whitefish, it seems like they're pretty good silver. So could be cool. This is no kind of farm though, obviously. This is just an experience. At least best I can tell. Maybe there's a chance you could trophy, a Kuori whitefish or something, and so maybe it's worth it to you to try to do that. But other than that, this is only worth doing if you're just wanting to have this experience. All right, that was a nibble on line 1. So let's see if we can definitely wait till we get a real bite. There we go. All right, so what did we catch on this one this time? Is that a Ventus? Too bad. Too bad. I think line 2 just got a nibble, didn't it? Yeah. But that might be a fake nibble. Whoa. Way too late on that because I was zoomed in. Yeah, we don't want to cast it that far. There we go. Alright, we'll try putting this back out one more time. If we don't get a pretty quick nibble on one of these, though, we'll go ahead and call it. So just too many Vendus now. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull it because that's what it did last time. No, we didn't get it. What's on here? Oh, yeah. The 2-shot. That's the one that seems to be catching grayling. The one that's sandwich bait in the middle. Alright, see how it's going left? We're pulling left. I mean, that's kind of the... Ooh, it popped off. What was it? I'm going to say that was a Kuori whitefish. It definitely looked like a whitefish. Why did it have to pop off? Yeah, we straight up got the fish got away message there. I mean, it was hooked on. I think we're using decent hooks. Yeah, on this one I've got a cheaper hook because I just assumed this one was gonna, at 8.2, might run into trouble. So I put a little... Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so when I first started, I had a 6 over here too, but a cheaper 6. And then I was like, why don't I just lower the hook size? Maybe it'll increase the bite rate, and maybe also I won't pop that leader as fast. But it seems like for trying to get decent size, some of these fish, size 6 might be the way to go, from what I'm seeing. For the most part, most of these species haven't nibbled for long periods of time. Even nibbling this long seems a bit odd compared to what we've been catching. Now we're getting a nibble on 2 as well. I think I missed a decent bite on 2. I don't want to pull too quick, but I also don't want to miss it. What is nibbling like that all of a sudden? Well, we'll see on this one. It's just a Vendus. Maybe the Vendus nibble more compared to the other species we're catching. I feel like when it was the lake trout, rainbow trout, the grayling, I mean, those were like, you know, maybe one pull and then they were gone. And I don't know what's happened. It's like when we first started fishing here, the diving beetle seemed like really solid. And then after catching 3 fish, it slowed down dramatically. Maybe we should try diving beetle on all 3, since that did catch the most valuable fish, but I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a lot of experimenting you could do here with different baits, casting in different directions perhaps, different times of day. I was surprised. I was expecting the morning when I started recording. I was expecting the morning to be better. It really wasn't. So far, the late afternoon, evening is when we were seeing the best, at least, fish species. But that probably was just random. I still think mornings would typically be pretty good, but... All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let me know what your experience has been here. I mean, you know, it's been fun. Again, we've caught, 6 different fish species. Some of them I had never caught on telescopic before, so there's that, you know. Get your qualifications a little bit, but... All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Tight lines, everybody. I'll see you next time.